Ruiz Jr versus Joshua 2, brought to you by Beats by Dr. Dre.
Rob, great to see you out in Saudi Arabia. How are you settling in? How's the whole team settling in?
Yeah, good. It's nice out here. We've got a great hotel and the training facilities have been really good. The British Embassy, so it's been great.
Yeah, so just expand on that. You're not training in the fight hotel where Ruiz is training. You're making a journey out to train at the British Embassy.
Yeah, it's not too far. It's only 15 minutes in the car. Outside ring, nice and private. Plenty of work we can do there, and you know, good facilities. So it's relaxed and settled. So he's comfortable out there.
You've come out ahead of time, giving yourself plenty of time to acclimatise. What are the major differences between fighting in the UK or fighting in the States that you've noticed so far?
I think it's really relaxed here. It's really quiet, calm. You know, he's been given his privacy, which has been great, and we've been able to just get on with the training and help get him ready. I think he's enjoyed himself out here. The sparring's been really good. We brought all 4 sparring partners out here, and that's been working really well. So his sparring's pretty much done now. There's only a little small 4-rounder, probably Monday or Tuesday this week, come in, and he's ready. But he's trained hard and he's in good shape.
What are your reflections when you look back on the whole fight night or fight week in New York, and what went wrong, really?
Yeah, I think it's a fight, isn't it, at the end of the day? I think the scrutiny on Anthony and the fight has been like something probably we haven't seen for a long, long time. I think every mistake's magnified. I think, you know, losing the fight was such a huge deal. It was, you know, it was really disappointing to us. It was a huge deal to us. You know, AJ ultimately is the one that was in there, and he was really, really disappointed. But the beauty of this sport is that nobody ever knows what's going to happen, and now there's the opportunity for a rematch, which is the right thing to do, and he's jumped at it, and he's got a great opportunity to get his titles back and you know, fight the heavyweight champion, who's currently Andy Ruiz and a very good fighter. So it's heavyweight boxing at its best, and this is what it's all about. And you know, you can't go away for 18 months and come back and box Andy Ruiz in 18 months. It's just not real. It's not the reality of the situation and how the sport is at the moment. You have to take your opportunities, and you know, AJ wants to take his opportunity to try and win his titles back.
We've always known you as a straight talker. What was the first thing you said to AJ when he came in the gym for the first session of this camp?
To be honest with you, we'd had a chat the day after in New York and stuff. Listen, you know, I'm his coach, so of course I was hugely disappointed, you know, and I know he was as well. I felt for him, I really did. You know, like I say, he's had a lot of exposure, and you know, it's been fantastic for him, and his life has changed, and you know, boxing's created wonderful opportunities for him and rewards, but you know, the lows are pretty heavy in this sport, as you know, and you know, when you take a knock like that, it takes a lot to bounce back up and get back on with it. But you know, he was pretty positive, you know, a day or 2 after, and he wanted to get back onto it and try and put the mistakes right and try and give a much better account of himself against Ruiz, and that's what he certainly will do.
Were you shocked? Would you use the word shocked at the backlash of the defeat? You know, there were some people that felt that he naturally underperformed anyway, but there were also some people that felt he quit in the fight. What was your reaction to that?
I think, to be honest with you, the scrutiny is just another level, and I think that, you know, we're in a media age now, in a social media age, where people, you know, it's their jobs, or you know, in some cases they make a living from it, and in other cases they have an agenda, and you just have to take the rough with the smooth in this sport. And you know, I've got a very thick skin. I don't take a lot of notice of a lot of negative comments that, you know, aren't the reality. You've got to be in a camp and you've got to see what's going on to actually have a fully informed opinion. I think it was just a really difficult night. He didn't perform, there's no doubt about that. Ruiz was excellent and you know, got the win. But you know, this is professional boxing. It's a very, very difficult sport. It's drama, it's theatre, it's everything rolled into one. And hopefully that's what we'll get on the 7th, and a much better AJ. And he's in a good mood. He's in a real good place. So he's really looking forward to the fight.
One of the things that he said when we came up to the final media day before you jetted out here was that he didn't have the fear of losing. It just was one of those things that with Jarrell Miller pulling out and Ruiz being a replacement, and a lot of focus being on Deontay Wilder's performance the week before, that actually it all just rolled into a snowball effect and he didn't have the fear of losing. He didn't take into account that he could be beaten by a man like Andy Ruiz. Do you feel that he's got that this time, that he realises what's at stake?
Yeah, without a doubt, but you know, it's not an excuse, because there are no excuses. Andy Ruiz won the fight. He's an excellent fighter. There's no doubt about it. But you know, the Miller fight was set up. There was 4 or 5 weeks to go, and Miller pulled out, and obviously, you know, Anthony's training for Miller, and then it's a different opponent, a different style, and a very good opponent. So, you know, does the mood become from, you know, I'm on it, I'm ready, you know, I'm preparing for Miller, I'm going to get this right, I'm getting all the strategy right, and then, you know, it comes 4 or 5 weeks notice, a new opponent who's, you know, just boxed a couple of weeks before, was in good nick fight wise, and then it's like, oh, you know, reset, change everything, and then, or does it become, I'll just get this out of the way? And I think human nature, in some cases, I've been a boxer, you kind of think, oh, I'll just get this one out of the way now, and probably a little bit of that crept in, but at the same time, you know, once you step in there, you've got to perform, and you know, whoever wins or loses is the rightful winner and loser. So getting the chance to put it, you know, to have another crack at it, and give a much better account of yourself, and have a real good shot at getting your titles back is what it's all about, and that's what Anthony's intending to do on the 7th, and that's what we've been working as hard as we can to support him to achieve. And he'll be, you know, he's in great shape, he's looking forward to it, his mood's great, so there's everything to go for here.
Has there been a different approach in sparring this time? It was a sort of a conveyor belt of sparring partners when we saw him, world-class fighters as well. And one of the things that Anthony said was this time that the sparring was a lot more geared towards the fight itself, rather than just doing rounds. It was hard rounds. Is that a different approach to what you did in the past?
I think it's the change of opponent created the issue. There's not too many Andy Ruiz out there in heavyweight boxing, you know, explosive, technically good sound, and you know, with 4 or 5 weeks notice, you do what you can, but it's never as structured as it would be over a 12-week training camp, where you know from the get-go who he's boxing and stuff, and you can plan, and you know, you're planning, you know, 20 weeks before on who you're bringing in, who would work best, who wouldn't, and stuff. No, you know, no real notice in terms of sparring partners to change for Ruiz, but at the same time, you know, there's 1 or 2 that came in that were good, and it's just a continuation of that. There's lots of good fighters that AJ sparred with over the last few years. All of that will give him the experience he needs, but certainly this group of sparring partners have been watching Ruiz and replicating what he does, and you know, AJ's been working on that in his spars, and he's been working long and hard on it.
You said about the social media age earlier, and what that does do is every time he posts a photo, it makes us talk, and the rumour mill starts, stuff like that. But he does, in photos on social media, and since we've seen him since we've been out here, he does look trimmer. He does look a little bit more slender, perhaps carrying a little bit less weight. Is that all an optical illusion? Are we looking for something that isn't there, or is he lighter? No,
he's lighter. He's lighter. He's in better condition. He was in condition anyway, but he's in even better condition than he was. His fitness is good. His boxing is good. He's been doing 12, 13 rounds regularly in spars once or twice a week. So he's in good condition. His mood's good. You know, he's confident. He's a big fight ahead of him. But I think the condition that he's in is giving him the confidence to enjoy the week of the fight, and you know, not be too over anxious like you know, normally is the case with fighters.
That being said, he's coming back from his first professional defeat. I know you worked with him obviously when he lost as an amateur, so you have been there with him. But is there more pressure on his shoulders that at this stage, back-to-back defeats to Andy Ruiz would be unthinkable? Is there any extra added pressure coming into this with the fact that it's the same opponent and he's coming off a loss?
Well, I think it's how you look at it, isn't it? I think, you know, you could look at it and see that, you know, Anthony came into boxing late, and what he's achieved in the last 10 years has been unbelievable, been phenomenal. You know, Olympic champion, unified heavyweight titles, has achieved everything in the sport that anyone could dream of. So then is it, you know, is it a wonderful achievement what he's done, or is it a disappointment because he doesn't go on then and become, you know, undisputed and you know, go on for a number of years? I think this is his 9th world heavyweight title fight. I'm pretty sure it is. That's a lot of world heavyweight title fights for somebody who's still, you know, not inexperienced, but he's relatively at the world level. So I think it's all learning. Professional boxing's learning. You know, you see fighters get beat and then they go on and they never lose again, and they learn so much from that loss. He'll have learnt a lot from the loss, and it should stand him in good stead moving forward. But professional boxing's, you know, it's a huge business. It's drama, it's theatre, it's a fantastic sport. But you know, there's upsets and you know, there's brilliant runs of form, and hopefully we can get back on that brilliant run of form, and he can achieve a few more heavyweight title wins, and you know, go out on a real high as a real big name in the sport, and that's what he wants to achieve. But there's no doubt about it, Ruiz is a top fighter.
Does it matter to you how he does it?
No, I don't care. I don't care if he wins on points or if I wouldn't. I just really don't care. I think he's got to stick to the tactics. I think he's got to use his advantages and get the win. And you know, he got the win using his tactics smartly against Parker. I think he's got to do something not the same, but that, you know, similar, little differences. But certainly he's just got to stick to the tactics and not worry too much about what the crowd, you know, the excitement of the rounds. Just get out there and get behind the jab and start boxing and get the win and use your height and reach and use your advantages. That's how I see it.
Do you think there's something to be read into the fact that had he not rushed in after he had Ruiz down, the fight would have been very different had he just kept a cool head in a hot kitchen? I know these are all ifs and buts.
Yeah.
Did that expose things that perhaps...
Well, I think it depends on whose view you listen to. I mean, I think some of the views were that negative that the knockdown, he didn't knock Ruiz down, you didn't even know about it. It was, oh, he was terrible, you know, this was bubble, everything was wrong. You know, I think, you know, everyone was getting stick, me, AJ, whatever. But this comes with the sport, and it, you know, it's, you know, if you have a go in life and you want to achieve things and you want to, you know, challenge yourself, which Anthony's done, you know, you've got to take the rough with the smooth. He knows that. He's a big, strong bloke, and you know, he can take it on his shoulders. You know, the rewards are unbelievable in the sport, but the sacrifice is difficult, and the criticism that comes with that. So he's prepared for that, and you know, he's just got to get out there and stick to the tactics and nullify Ruiz and get the win. And you know, he's worked long and hard to try and achieve that, and he'll do all he can to achieve that on the 7th. Just
finally, then, my last question: if he does everything that you've seen him do in training and performs to his best, do you think he could win inside the distance?
Listen, as long as he wins, he's capable of winning inside the distance. He's capable of winning on points. But I'm not a fool. I've been in boxing a long time, and Ruiz is top level. He's dynamic, he's quick, he's powerful. He's got good ring presence. He knows how to control the ring. So this is a top world heavyweight championship fight, and you know, it's fantastic to be involved in it. But you know, to get the win is all that really matters. Let's be honest, and that's what I want AJ to do, and that's what he fully intends to do on the 7th, and that's what we're going for.